everyone, this is Charmaine and I'm the dietitian that helps people reverse type 2 diabetes, and I have another dietitian with me here today. You can say hi to everyone, Valentina.
Hi everyone.
Awesome.
Hey there.
Hello. So Valentina is actually one of our coaches in our Reversing Diabetes program. She is an amazing nutritional coach. So we are excited to interview her just to share a little bit of the insights of what it's like, in the Reversing Diabetes program. So my first question for you, Valentina, is what made you want to work with us in terms of helping people reverse diabetes? What makes you want to be a part of the mission?
That is an excellent question. That's a very good question. And I think there's different parts to the answer, but all in all, the main reason why I decided to join the team, there's actually two main reasons. But the first one being type 2 diabetes is reversible, right? So there's that. There's many health conditions out there for which we might not have a cure. We might not have tools that we can empower people with. And type 2 diabetes is not that one of them. We know that through food, through having a healthy dietary pattern, moving your body more, introducing healthier habits into your lifestyle, you can absolutely improve or optimize your insulin sensitivity, and then that really helps individuals live a healthier lifestyle. And so that's one of the most powerful things, I think, and it's just really incredible, waking up every day and being able to help people day in and day out get to where they need to be and then stay there as well. And so that's definitely one of the main reasons why I decided to join the team. And the second reason actually has a lot to do with my own personal background story. And so for the longest time, I have been practicing working with a whole food plant-based dietary pattern in mind. And so we were very aligned. And I also, once I met the team, I thought this is an amazing, environment. And then also I met the clients, and, just absolutely fantastic waking up every day and working with the most amazing people. And so it's very rewarding, very rewarding for sure.
I love that. And what would you say are some of your highlights in working in the Reversing Diabetes program for you?
That's another very good question. One of the highlights is actually funny because this is a client that we're not currently working with anymore, right? Because those are the highlights, right? People who get to improve their health, optimize their health, and then they finish their program and they continue, they move on with their lives. And so one of my personal highlights, I believe I can share this, but it's actually a client that had been struggling with type 2 for a while, and they were really trying to grow their family, and they weren't able to until they reversed their type 2. And now they were waiting for the first baby.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yes, that was one of their personal goals. Of course, the program goal was for them to be able to reverse their type 2 and improve insulin sensitivity. And then when that happened, they were able to grow their family. And so that was awesome. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
But there's highlights every week, when individuals tell you I'm off medication, I feel better, I have more energy, I feel I'm more focused at work, or they tell you I feel empowered because I've cut back on medication, or I'm off of medication, or all of those things. They really, these are the powerful things that really, make a difference on people's lives.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I love that. And I think I love what you said about being able to see client results, not just during the program. Of course, we love that, but also after the program. Because I think a lot of people's question is okay, well, what will happen to me after the program? But it's about actually sustaining it and being able to keep their diabetes reversed or keep it into remission so that they don't have to worry about it later, right? So I love that you shared that.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. It's basically empowering individuals to be able to enjoy life. And so that type 2 diabetes is not the end all be all of their existence, right? It's for them to be able to regain control, basically, and be able to enjoy life, basically. So that's a main long-term goal of ours.
I love that. Yeah, and you might have touched base on a little bit earlier, but what would you say are your favorite client results that you've seen or that are most encouraging to you?
Well, that's one. We do work with a lot of, women struggling with PCOS who are able to, they start seeing or experiencing regular cycles again. Their skin is clear. I really enjoy working with young individuals who might feel like their bodies are, not helping them like enjoy life to the fullest. And so once they join the program, we start working together and they start, moving more, they start eating the healthiest foods ever. And, that has a tremendous impact. And so those are, I think every week we get a couple of clients who are able to lower A1C levels or able to improve or optimize really their whole metabolic panel. So there's also lowering of cholesterol or improving HDL cholesterol. So really it's all the biological markers that get better on a whole food plant-based dietary pattern. And of course, everything affects insulin sensitivity. So that's great. Another highlight or something that really fuels what we do here is when clients say, I love that I can have, a little something here and there and it's not catastrophic as before. So for example, this year, there was a client of ours that they were celebrating their birthday with like a little bit of a small piece of cake. And usually that was like catastrophic for them. They were able to enjoy like this time without it being like extremely, exactly. Because again, here we're literally tackling down the root cause of reversal of type 2. And so that's really empowering, when individuals feel like their health is a little bit under control and they can just enjoy life a little bit more. So that's awesome.
So I'm sorry if I cut you off a little bit, but you were saying that they're able to eat the cake and be able to not see their blood sugar skyrocket. Is that correct?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. So usually like especially after a couple of months, of course, like for different individuals, it might take a little bit more, a little bit less. It depends on their previous history, of course. But when an individual tells you like I had, I treated myself today and it wasn't catastrophic, like my sugar levels were still somewhat manageable, or maybe they just take like a quick walk, after enjoying tea and cake with their families or whatever, and their sugar levels are still very much within range. That is when you are able to say, okay,
I love
that. I've literally regained insulin sensitivity. And so, of course, they're like the base of their dietary pattern should always be whole food, fiber-rich foods, but obviously, enjoying life is important as well, and enjoy food here and there. So that's very powerful.
I love that. 100%. And I think that's encouraging because like you said, right, when you see them regain insulin sensitivity, it's encouraging because that means that they don't have to be this strict all the time, right? They're able to live life to the full, to travel, to, enjoy your birthday cake, celebrate another year of life. And I think that's super important as well. So I love that you're able to see that every day in and out, seeing how people are able to improve their blood sugars. And also it's other patterns as well, not just their blood sugars, but their blood lipids, right? Even you mentioned about PCOS, how they're able to have regular cycles again, right? Have clear skin again. That's amazing. And it's so encouraging to hear, even helping people have better body confidence. I think that's definitely
absolutely
encouraging. What would you say is your biggest tip to someone who's wanting to reverse diabetes, would you say?
So many good questions today, Charmaine. So there's definitely a few, but if I had to pick just one, it would be focusing as much as possible. We're not saying every day or for every meal, but just focusing as much as possible on whole foods. Minimally processed foods. That's literally the one thing that could literally improve or optimize everyone's lives. But if I could add in like a second thing,
you can be greedy and throw in everything in there. Throw in all your tips in there.
That's awesome. Moving your body. We are made to be moving. It stands to reason that the moment we stop moving, things start shifting, right? And so it's important for us to stay moving. And movement is awesome because you're able to eat more and without necessarily, cutting back on, specific foods or anything, just because you're moving. It improves insulin sensitivity, it improves your mood, it helps you, be in a better mood. We know there's a huge correlation between movement and mental well-being as well. Whole foods, minimally processed foods, and moving your body. Those are, I would say, the two pillars. Everything else we can work on. Everything else we can take our time. Everything else is bonuses and details and optimization. But the foundation of health is movement and whole foods.
I love that. Sure. I love that. And you're actually a certified personal trainer. Aside from being a dietitian, you're also a certified personal trainer as well. And like, I think it's cool because you get to see the nutritional side and also the exercise side, how, both of them really helps as well. So I love that you kind of gave us the foundation to reversing diabetes. That's super helpful. And if you can, this is a bonus question. I know I didn't ask you earlier, but the bonus question is, when it comes to reversing diabetes, is it a cookie cutter structure, or is everybody different?
Everybody is different for sure, which is actually another reason, going back to that first question, that's another reason why I decided to join this program, because we're able to get to know each and every single client that we work with on a very personal level. So we take the time that we need to get to know everyone, to get to work with everyone on a one-to-one basis. And then after a couple of weeks, when we get to really, really understand the individual's day-to-day life, we're able to put together an amazing lifestyle and help them get to where they want to be. So it's absolutely 100% made for them. It's what I love about this program is that it's not clients who need to adjust themselves to what we do here. It's the other way around. We adjust to them. And so it's great because, again, everyone is different, and there is no one size fits all for anything health related, especially nutrition, because if you think about it, you're eating many times per day. So it needs to be something that reflects who you are, that reflects your culture, your food preferences. And so it's super important to be able to personalize this experience for everyone. And that's what makes, another thing that makes this team so great is we take the time and we put in the work to get to know everyone and make it work, make it sustainable for them.
Yeah, I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that as well. And, talk about culture. I know you're multicultural because you're Latina, right? You live in Australia and you also lived in Italy for a long time, right? So can you speak into, how clients can still eat their cultural foods that they love and still be able to reverse diabetes?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens very often that we have been drilled into our brain. It's been drilled that there's some foods that are good, some foods that are bad, some foods that are better than others. And while there's some truth to that, of course, like we were just talking about how important it is to have your dietary plan be based on whole foods. While that is true, I think there's a misconception that there's some foods that you should never eat again, or some foods that are like super, health detrimental. Really, it depends on many factors, things like how often, how much, what you pair those foods with, how much you're moving before and after those meals. So there are tools. I think this is, the key here. There's tools that you can learn and start applying to improve and optimize your health without necessarily saying no to especially when it comes to your cultural foods. It's important that you're able to enjoy your cultural foods, or the foods that you have always loved. Those should always be a part of someone's life. There's a lot to nutrition, much more so than just eating for nutrients. I mean, food reflects who we are as persons. Food can reflect our history. Food reflects the history of a country and ethnicity. And so we might eat for reasons other than just nutrition. And that's, we have to address that as well if we want for this to be something that's sustainable and like a lifelong commitment, right? And so it's important to address that. And that's something we do every day for clients here. We work with people from all over the world with different backgrounds, different stories, and we adjust the program to those needs.
I love that. And I remember you sharing, you were able to modify some of your cultural foods as well. So what are some of your favorite cultural foods that you like modifying?
That's a great question. So we have very good food in Argentina, very tasty. However, they are very big. We are very big on red meat and beef, and unfortunately there's also a lot of refined flour products. And so one of the most traditional foods in Argentina is empanadas.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a little bit different than other Latin American countries' empanadas because we bake ours. So they're not deep fried, they're baked.
That's
but
better.
They're still, that's a little bit better, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still, there's refined wheat flour and a lot of red meat, and they can be very fatty as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I created my own empanadas version basically. And when I go back to my country, visit family, they just love my empanadas, and they always ask, like, when are you making empanadas for everyone? So I need to bake them like 1 or 2 days in advance to make it up for everyone. And so what I do for the dough, I create like a mix of whole grain flour, just regular whole grain flour. It's about 20 or 30%, and the rest is almond flour. And so I mix that, and then the filling, which is traditionally ground beef or stuff like that. Usually what I do is use textured vegetable protein, TVP, one of my favorite products, lentils, and usually I will add in like, some green onions, a little bit of garlic, and tons of lemon juice, and they're delicious. They're delicious. So there's absolutely ways that we can adapt cultured foods for.
I love that. I love that. And it's cool because you're not deviating. And I think a lot of times people think like, oh, if I have to eat healthy, it's like chicken salad, and they're bored, and so they kind of give up, right? But I think just to be able to see you're not deviating from, the foods that you love, right? Like you're still eating it, but you're learning how to make switches, and, even just hearing the ingredients, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish I could like taste them right now. But I think it's just so cool that you're able to do that. And I think people need to see that more of how, whether you're coming from Asian background, from like, Latin background, or from Hispanic background, from Indian background, or African background, like there's ways to utilize your cultural foods and still be able to enjoy it and still, eat healthy and reverse your diabetes. And I even think like thinking back, in traditional days, people do use whole wheat flour, like only the rich can use like white flour, right? Or
That's
like
true.
same with like Chinese culture, like only the rich can eat white rice, like, but most people eat brown rice because it's cheaper to, not process that, right? And so I just love you, sharing that with our audience. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
I would say if you're considering joining the program or not, if you're like on the fence about it, just do it. Try it out. I promise it's worth it. I promise. And this is coming from a coach, okay? Someone who works with clients, and it can really, really be truly life-changing if you're ready, right? And so it can really, really improve and optimize your health, but also just really your whole life. So if you're on the fence about it, just do it. We have free trainings and everything. So yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. We have a lot of fun here. It's fun being in the program.
Yes, it's fun. And I think that's important. That's important to let people know it's fun. And I think the thing that makes it fun is like, we really treat you as family. Once you join the program, like you get to be in our group coaching forever. Like it's something that I am very proud of the culture that we've built. And also, coaches like you and Cara, who are just amazing gems. I'm like so grateful that you guys, have decided to join us. And I think it's the heart that we have. Like, I think everyone that comes in, we genuinely wants to help you. So as long as you're willing to be helped, we can help you, and I think
absolutely.
And I really appreciate you, Valentina. I know our clients feel so loved and so cared for by you. And even just in team meeting, and this is kind of behind the scenes, but when we have like coaches meeting, like I see that you really think through, okay, how can I help that person? Like, and you really try 110% to help our clients. And so super grateful for you. I am just so lucky to have you on my team. I always tell people, I'm like, I don't know how these amazing people just fall in my lap. And some people may know this, well, I can share with people our story of how like we started working together. I think you sent me an email like long time ago. And then like, I just, one day I just remember, I was like, oh, like I needed like another coach, and I reached out to you. And then, you were just looking for, another role.
It was the universe. It was just crazy. It was the universe. Like I just happened to be for that week. for that week.
Crazy.
Or it was like 10 days or something. Like I had just arrived in Australia and I needed to, find something to do here after traveling for a while.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, time to start, looking for something cool to do. And then Charmaine sent me this message and it was like click, 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 and it was awesome.
Wow, that's crazy. It gives me chills to, think about that story. But super grateful for you, Valentina. You are an amazing coach for, our clients. And I know you have pure love for our team and for our clients. So super grateful for you. And for those of you who are interested in learning our process of how we help you reverse diabetes, reverse insulin resistance, you can watch our free reversing diabetes training. Basically, we explain the science of how we help you do so. And we also talk about what we do inside the reversing diabetes program that makes us so successful in helping people. And so I'm excited to, hopefully see you inside the reversing diabetes program and join our family. And hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.